As promised, we're joined right now by somebody who played tight end at Notre Dame and actually played it really, really well. A 2022 consensus All-American. He set the program of career records for tight ends for receptions, yardage, and TD receptions last season. A team-high 67 receptions, over 800 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns, and that led all FBS tight ends in TD receptions. He appears courtesy of Old Spice Swagger. He is Michael Mayer. Michael, great to have you on. How are you?
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you on. So let me start you off with a question that I've hit probably 20 prospects with. So I'm going to give you the same a different variation of the same question. You are now exactly one sleep away until the start of the draft tomorrow. Given how close you are to realizing a lifelong dream, I'm curious, what is your headspace right about now? How you feeling about things?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. It might be a little difficult to fall asleep tonight. I'll tell you that. I'm excited for it. It's something I've been thinking of since January 1st, January 2nd. It's been a long process. I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to see where, my new home's going to be. And, to be honest with you, I'm ready to start playing some football again.
I bet. So I referenced at the very top the records you set at Notre Dame. I mean, you had a really storied high school career, which I'll get to in a minute. But when you stepped on campus at Notre Dame for the first time, did you envision yourself leaving as one of the most decorated and productive players ever at such a storied program?
I think I thought about it. I think I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it. Going in as a freshman, I think my first thought was, all right, how do you play as a freshman? How do you get on the field as a freshman? And I had a pretty good freshman season. And then for me, it was, how do I attack my sophomore and junior year the best I can to break some records, to win as many football games as we can, and kind of help the team win. And so that was kind of my focus. And it was fun. I love Notre Dame. I loved, being there. I had 4 quarterbacks in 3 years that I really enjoyed playing with. So it was awesome.
Michael Mayer joining us. Obviously, when you look at that success, it's based a lot on your tremendous athleticism. You led Covington Catholic High School to state titles in both football and basketball, which is pretty mind-blowing. I mean, it might all feel pretty normal to you, but I think that's really impressive. At what point, though, did you realize you would focus on football instead of basketball going forward?
It was my sophomore year of high school. Going into high school, I really didn't even know if I was going to play football, but my sophomore year, I played football and basketball, and that's when we won a state championship in both. And from then, I kind of realized football is my thing. Football is meant for me. It's what I should be doing with my life. And from then, I started training just with football. I still played basketball, but I was really focused on football and winning football games for my high school. I had a great high school coach who helped me out along the way. He gave me my number 87. That's why I wear 87. So it was exciting to win those things at Cuff Gath and do the same at Notre Dame.
Hey, dude, was that year any good? State championships in 2 sports that same year. Let me ask you this. Did you always have a greater passion for football, or did you have better career prospects with football? Ultimately, what did it come down to?
I think ultimately it was what's going to be the best for me, my body type, and succeeding in the sport. And I think that's football over basketball, right? I'm 6'4.5". I can't really shoot. And so being a tight end is exactly my kind of body prototype. And that's what I'm kind of born for. That's what I'm meant for. And so once I started really digging into how to be a tight end and training to how to be a tight end, that's kind of really when I started to excel a little bit and kind of accepted my fate as, all right, I'm a tight end. Let's do this. Let's learn how to run routes. Let's learn how to block, and let's be good at both of them.
Michael Mayer is joining us. Obviously, if I'm looking for a connection between tight ends and hoops, I can obviously mention Tony Gonzalez or Jimmy Graham or Antonio Gates. They all play both sports. Who are the tight ends that you've patterned your game after the most? Again, I know you want to be your own guy, but when you look at others who came before you, who are the guys you've patterned or tried to emulate?
I think I would have to say Gronkowski, number 1. I would say George Kittle, number 2, and Kelsey, number 3. I think those 3 guys in itself all have kind of a different style of play. And I think I would like to emulate kind of all 3 style of play in one, blocking, receiving, being a leader, being a force on pretty much everything in the entire offense. I hope I can do that in the league. And I actually met George Kittle this past summer at Tight End U, and just a fantastic guy. And I'm really glad I got to know him. And, I'm excited to play against him and or maybe with him. I don't know, in the NFL.
So, Michael, what was that conversation like? What did you guys chop it up about? What did you say to him?
Well, I think the first thing I kind of realized is, all right, there's a little bit I got to learn here. These are NFL tight ends, and I'm a sophomore in college, and there's some things I got to work on. And that's the first thing I did. I went back to South Bend and I worked on it. And I think the second thing I realized is just how good of a guy he is, how good of a guy Kelsey is, and some of the people at tight end. I got to meet Greg Olsen too, fantastic guy. And so it's for me, it's about my football career, obviously, but I want to be a great guy off the field. I want to be able to talk to people and be able to do cool things off the field. And so I learned a lot from them in that aspect of it too.
I was going to say, I don't want to generalize at all, but, you make a really interesting point. Those are all great dudes. What is it? Is it something to do with the position? Like, to your point, you got to be selfless. I mean, you have to be skilled. You've got to run your routes, but you've got to do a bunch of the grunt work, the dirty work as well. Why is it that all these guys, is it a coincidence, or is it not that all these dudes are really good dudes in addition to being great players?
I don't totally know, but I do know that the tight end position in the NFL is unique in that way. The fact that 150, 100 tight ends a year can come together and train and hang out together for 3-4 days is something that doesn't happen in other positions very often. Doesn't happen in the NFL in general very often. And you have to be selfless to do that, number one, and you got to be selfless to play tight end position too. So it's a cool position. I'm excited to be a part of it, and it's cool to be in a group with those guys who I mentioned before.
All right, so you're appearing courtesy of Old Spice. I'm going to ask you about that in 1 minute, but I want to ask you one more thing about the draft. I mean, it's wild, right? All the buzz, all the smoke, all the speculation, all the attention. What are you doing with all that? Like, do you follow that and try and keep up with all that? Because, by the way, you are going up very quickly. There's a lot of buzz that you'll be the first tight end taken. Do you try to figure out exactly what's going on, or do you steer clear of that altogether? How do you approach it?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Just the combine, I think I've kind of steered clear of it all. I haven't looked at much. I haven't really been on Twitter or Instagram. And so for me, it's about keeping my head down, working, and whatever happens, happens. Control the controllables. The good thing is I got 24 hours to think about it. And then after that, it's over. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's almost here. It's almost over. And I've tried to stay out of it as much as I can. I've got some text here and there, but I'm excited for it. I'm just ready for it to happen.
All right, so it's out of your control, and it's a waste of energy and your resources to worry about something you have no control over. But will you be disappointed if you're not the first tight end taken?
Yeah, I don't think disappointed is the right word to use there. I feel like in my combine and in my pro day and in my last 3 years at Notre Dame, I've done everything I could. So if a team doesn't want to draft me, that's totally fine. There's nothing I can do about that. And I'm going to wait till the next team that wants to draft me and try to do the best I can at that team,
It's a good answer, dude. It's a good answer. Michael Mara joining us. But then again, I've always said this. The thing about Notre Dame, every Notre Dame player I talk to inevitably comes off really, really well. And I'd put you in that same category. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell to be the first to know when we do upload a new video.